Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining us today because we've got a really fun journey ahead. Today, we're completely demystifying Level 1 commerce. We're going to take those fundamental economic and business concepts, the ones you usually find in a high school textbook, and connect them directly to some incredibly dynamic, real-world business scenarios. Whether you're a student prepping for NCEA assessments, a professional, or really just someone curious about how money actually makes the world go round, this explainer is going to show you how foundational classroom theory perfectly maps onto global boardroom reality.
Okay, let's dive into this with a question that, well, it might seem a little strange at first glance. What exactly do a local New Zealand donut shop and a massive European internet giant have in common? I mean, on the surface, absolutely nothing, right? One sells sugary treats to the neighborhood and the other lays thousands of miles of fiber optic cable. But, as you'll see, the economic forces governing their survival are exactly the same. We're going to use a micro to macro narrative today to prove that the rules of business are pretty universal.
To ground our exploration, we're looking at the Year 11 NCEA Level 1 Commerce curriculum, and we're specifically using the course outline from Rutherford College as our framework. So, Level 1 Commerce is absolutely crucial because it introduces students to the key concepts of business and economics. We're exploring how markets operate, how businesses make decisions in a constantly changing economic environment, and we're investigating stuff like supply and demand, marketing, finance, operations, and sustainability, all through these great real-world New Zealand contexts. It's really designed to develop critical thinking, problem-solving, and financial decision-making skills. Basically, it provides a rock-solid foundation for anyone moving on to Level 2 accounting or economics.
All right, we're tackling 3 core academic standards today. First up, AS 92028. This one focuses on financial decision-making and fundamental economic concepts, basically how an organization addresses a need or issue using financial tools. Then, AS 92029 looks at price determination, how internal and external factors influence what a business actually charges. And finally, AS 92030 is all about interdependent financial relationships, looking at how a single event ripples through an entire network. You can think of this table not just as a syllabus, but as a really practical analytical toolkit.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, welcome to Level 1 Commerce. Second, financial interdependence in action. Third, price determination and markets. Fourth, government regulation of markets. And finally, navigating real-world risks.
Section 2. Financial Interdependence in Action.
So, what does this all mean? Financial interdependence is just the way entities, businesses, households, governments rely on each other financially within an economy. I want you to visualize this as a giant spider web. You literally can't pull on one single string without making the entire web vibrate. Every single financial transaction connects 2 or more parties, creating a chain reaction when something, anything, changes. To really get a feel for this, let's look at a local New Zealand context: delectable donuts. Aside from fueling the neighborhood with sugar, look at the incredible network of stakeholders relying on this one small bakery. We've got the local wanu, where maybe a single parent works part-time and is looking for more hours. We've got the suppliers of flour, sugar, and packaging. There's the local community bank where deposits are made. There's the government collecting taxes. And of course, other community organizations like schools, petrol stations, and the local mare. They are all financially linked to this one small business. It's all connected.
Now, let's introduce an event. Let's say Delectable Donuts has some of its videos shared by major social media influencers. Boom, they go viral. Before the campaign, they had steady, localized sales and predictable orders. But after the viral campaign, a massive ripple effect. The suppliers suddenly have higher demand, so they make more money. The single parent in the wanu gets those extra hours they wanted, bumping up their household income. The local bank sees a surge in deposits, giving them more capital to lend out. Just like that, one viral video completely changes the financial reality for the entire community.
Section 3. Price determination and markets. Okay, let's pivot to the global stage and see how this builds when we look at a massive corporate entity. Meet Digi Communications, a major player in the European telecommunications sector, specifically operating a vast fiber optic network over in Romania. Now, I know we're jumping from a small shop selling donuts to a multinational corporation providing high-speed internet, but stick with me here. Keep those Level 1 commerce concepts in mind.
This number on your screen is just staggering, 6,288. That is a number of localities in Romania where the national regulator, known as ANCOM, identified Digi Romania as having significant, dominant market power over fixed internet access. When a business controls the market in over 6,000 specific areas, well, the normal rules of supply and demand really start to warp.
The reality of that market power is crystal clear. Out of those 6,288 localities, which, by the way, span a population of 5.3 million people and are 99% rural, look at this breakdown. In 5,702 of them, Digi is the single, exclusive provider. In only 64 localities are there 3 or more providers. In our commerce curriculum, we learned that healthy competition drives fair prices, but here, the almost total lack of competitors in these rural areas means Digi has an overwhelming ability to skew price determination heavily in their favor.
So the crucial point comes straight from the regulator, ANCOM. They noted that without regulation, the dominant provider could basically refuse to grant access to their network, entirely preventing users from having any choices. Or, crucially, tariffs could increase above the competitive level. This perfectly illustrates the core of Standard 92029. An internal business decision to maximize profit by raising prices can actively harm the consumer when there are 0 external competitors to keep them in check.
Section 4. Government Regulation of Markets.
When monopolies threaten fair pricing, government bodies must step in. We often think of businesses as being entirely free to set their own strategies, but in reality, just as it's taught in our Year 11 framework, external government regulation frequently overrides those internal business strategies, and they do this to protect everyday citizens and ensure we actually have a functioning, equitable economy.
To force market equilibrium, ANCOM imposed some very specific, justified obligations on Digi. Let's walk through them. Number 1, they must allow third-party competitors access to their infrastructure under fair conditions. 2, they have to publish a reference offer for local loop access. And 3, they must set fair tariffs to ensure a balanced competitive environment. Notice how the government is explicitly altering Digi's internal financial decision-making process here? They're artificially injecting the competition that the rural market naturally lacked.
Section 5. Navigating real-world risks. Let's take a look at the actual external threats outlined directly in Digi Communications' annual report to investors. They cite rapid technological changes that could make their services obsolete overnight. They highlight massive geopolitical conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East causing supply chain and economic disruption. They note rising inflation, higher interest rates, the lingering impacts of COVID-19, and intense regulatory shifts like the one we just talked about. What's incredible is that these are the exact same macroeconomic factors you're taught to analyze in Year 11 Commerce.
And this brilliantly illustrates our main takeaway for today. Whether you're a single parent working at Delectable Donuts in a New Zealand suburb hoping for extra hours after a viral marketing campaign, or you're the CEO of a multinational fiber optic internet provider navigating European government regulations and geopolitical strife, the fundamental laws of supply, demand, external risk, and financial interdependence remain exactly the same. The classroom theory literally is the boardroom reality.
I want to leave you with this final thought and a bit of a challenge today. Look at a business in your own neighborhood. Maybe it's your favorite cafe, the local mechanic, or retail store. I want you to look at it through the lens of a newly minted business analyst. What is one external factor, be it inflation, local competition, or even a viral social media trend, that's currently impacting its price determination today? Think about that web of interdependence. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and keep looking for the economics happening all around you.